Here's what's coming up on the Cold Podcast.
And I think, and I think in a way to adapt it to American media a little bit better, you have to have like this constant looming threat. So I think it is going to bring in a new audience. And I think the best thing is that it gives people a chance who are One Piece fans to finally be able to like give you a person who's not like a digestible means to watch it. Like Lucky Roo was black, but he was on model. He looked like the character with dark skin. Like that's fine. Like she's literally just any black woman with a blue wig though. What's poppin', everybody?
Welcome back to the Cold Podcast.
I'm Zo.
And I'm Steve.
All right, we're going to talk about why you should watch One Piece. Now that One Piece is really topical now, thanks to the Netflix adaptation and other news that has surfaced with the show, we're going to go ahead and give you reasons why you should be tuning in.
Yeah, no, I think One Piece is a really good show. Some people call it peak fiction. I saw some of the Netflix series. I haven't seen the whole thing yet. It was entertaining. Yeah, to say the least. It definitely was entertaining. There were some parts where it was a little bit iffy, but fortunately, I don't remember any of the plot of One Piece, so it wasn't like I was seeing any contradictions that made it worse.
Okay, are we gonna try to keep this spoiler free, or do we not care?
I think we should probably
spoiler alert.
We could do a spoiler-free section.
All right, we'll try our best to keep it spoiled. We're not gonna actively dissect the whole story, but we're gonna talk about some characters. So if you care about not hearing anything about it, I'd say don't
even watch this.
Yeah, yeah, just leave us alone for now. But yeah, we're gonna talk about it. But first things first, with season 1, I saw it all. I know you saw. We know we all saw most of it, and some of us haven't seen it at all. So, what did you say are some of the things you liked about the first season and what they did?
I actually liked the way Nami looked.
Okay, yeah.
Nami looked really good.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember you said, like, did she grow on you? I thought you were unimpressed a little bit when she first took the screen.
Well, so there were some things that were a bit lacking, I guess. Yeah. But overall, she did start to have a little bit more of an appeal as the show went on.
Okay.
I also did like...
what do you think she was missing?
She was missing 2 really important things.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm not gonna name them.
All right, fair enough.
Opie?
Yeah. But yeah, so the show, I'd say like what really stood out to me was like honestly like Luffy grew on me too. Like the character playing Luffy, it was kind of corny. But at the same time, I was like, man, you know what? I could actually kind of see Luffy acting like this to an extent if he were like a real person. So that was pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, on the characters aspect, I think most of the characters played their roles really well. I don't think there was any issue with like the characters fitting like the actual characters of the show. I think they cast it great. The only thing that I think Luffy's character had, yeah, I'm going there. Yeah, I think Luffy's character like perfectly embodies the spirit of Luffy. I think that was a really good cast. I don't like his voice. I just don't. I don't know what it is.
Hurrah!
It is really hard for me to get used to that voice. It's just, I don't know. His accent is just like his line reads are like really rough to me.
I mean, like every time he says, "My name is Monkey D. Luffy."
Yes, yeah, exactly.
And I'm gonna be king of the pirates. Like every time I hear that, my heart dies a little bit. I agree with that to an extent.
Perfect. That was really
no.
That wasn't exaggerated. I'm glad you did that, Steve. That was almost on point with exactly how it sounds.
It's so awkward.
Yeah, it's very awkward and stilted. And I think that's the only thing I don't like. But in terms of like the actual casting, I think they did good. Another thing they did good is I think they there's like a give and take. I think they told the story very well. They stuck to most of the key points of the like how they told the East Blue Saga, which was really good. Yeah. I think it was overall like really well executed, and they kind of did not shy away from the goofy aspects of One Piece. They kind of like just like, hey, this is how the world works. Like a lot of live actions try to like go to like this gritty realism, and they were not. And they did that in a couple aspects, but in most of the time, they stuck to like what the source was and realized like, hey, people like this for a reason. We're not going to shy away from some of the goofiness. Yeah. So I'm like, I give them thumbs up for that. Those are I think the best things of the show.
Yeah, I'd say episode 4 was definitely a tragedy though. The one with the black cats and everything. That was the last episode I saw. 4. Okay, and it was really bad.
What did you like about it? See, why'd you hate that?
Well, it felt like I was watching Nightmare on Elm Street. Basically, it felt like a really bad knockoff of Nightmare on Elm Street. It was like a scary movie, over dramatized. Just
it felt like a horror movie kind of.
Yeah,
it did. I think that I get what you're saying, but I see why they did that, because you know how the actual arc was back in the day?
I don't really remember it, no.
Okay, yeah. If you know how it was, I kind of realized why with the budget it would be a little bit harder, because it kind of took place like in a town and at a beach, and then like also like the mansion setting. And I feel like you only have so much time to tell that story. And there are like a lot of pieces they had to take out. Like there was a whole character that was basically like a Michael Jackson knockoff that like didn't even get to make it in, because he had a whole different section. They had like a whole thing where like the bad guy, the cat guy's crew comes in and they have to fight at the beach. So it's like, and they had to condense all that into like an episode and a half. So I see why they kind of had to like change things around, but like keep the menacing aspect, because he is kind of like a menacing, scary character. So I think kind of framing it like, if this is going to take place in just a house and we got to tell a whole story revolving around that and, make this guy menacing, it's probably going to feel like almost like a horror movie, because it's literally just taking place inside of a mansion. Right. That's very horror-esque. So I'm like, I get why that can kind of turn you off, because it's like, okay, they were leaning into like this whole like, kaya, scratching the walls. Like they were leaning into that a lot, but I see why they did. I'm not mad at them. I think they did it as good as they could have. Yeah. And Lizzie, you're a big One Piece fan. Give us your thoughts. What do you think about it? What you like and didn't like?
Most of the storytelling was pretty good. I mean, they captured a lot of the essence. I feel like they added a lot of things that didn't really need to be added, though. One Piece is such a long series that you really don't have to add stuff like, remember the whole scenario where Kobe, who's like a Marine, he's with the other new Marine, Helmeppo. They're just like on an investigation, like he's, and he like, but the thing is he just joined the Marines. Yeah. But somehow he's given this excitement of like tracking down these notorious pirates to try to
just immediately Garp's like, "Are you the new recruit? You're gonna be my right hand man." It just takes him like, all right. Like,
it's kind of crazy.
Did you finish watching the whole series yet or no?
No, not yet.
Okay. So. All right. Well, well, let me tell you, one of the changes they make is that is a big thing, and Lizzie brought it up, is they basically give a huge role to like the Marines, which they didn't have before. So like you said in the first episodes, you're like, they kind of like inserted them in like the whole arc, and they do that the whole way through.
So they're just trailing them everywhere they go. Okay.
Exactly. And I see why they did it.
It's like a Tom and Jerry thing.
Yeah. I think they did it only because, one, it kind of gives like the point to like casting some of these actors that only would have been in one episode, like true. More to do. But I think it does add a little bit to the story, because, one, it kind of gives like stakes, whereas like the East Blue Saga really doesn't have stakes. A lot of times it's very disjointed and episodic. And I think and I think in a way to adapt it to American media a little bit better, you have to have like this constant looming threat.
Heroes and villains, okay.
Yeah, and I think
I get that.
Yeah, and I think that's like an okay thing, because, one, some of the story points were things that would have happened later anyway that they could just move up without consequence. Because there was like a part where like, Garp and Luffy meet on the water and they're trying to attack them. Like that actually happens later in the series. They just kind of moved it up, which I'm like, okay, they're still sticking to what actually happened. And I think it doesn't really detract anything. It actually gives more character in the live action version to Garp. But some people would argue that it kind of like messes with his character in show. But my opinion is I don't think it really did that much damage. I think it fit well. I think it added the stakes they wanted to an American audience, to where it's like you're more used to having like a series have like this overarching looming threat that like climaxes at the end. So I think it was inoffensive. I can see why people wouldn't like it if you're a One Piece fan, but in that case you can just watch the actual show. But I think it did its job and it did it well.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better about that, actually.
Yeah.
So do you think, with all that said about like an American audience, do you think that American audiences will actually flock to this new One Piece live action show?
I think it will. Because I think the most people that were interested are people who are fans or people who are curious about it. It kind of gives them an easy entry point, because One Piece, as some of you might know, is like 1,000+ episodes. So like if I go to any person and tell them like, hey, you got to watch this new series, they're like, great, where do I start? And I'm like, well, start episode 1. And they're like, how many seasons are in there? Well, I don't know how many seasons, but I will tell you it's 1,000 episodes. They're going to be like, you know what? Don't forget we even talked. Like I'm not doing that. Like it's really hard. And I think like if as a One Piece fan, I feel like if I can sell One Piece to people now, I can at least tell them that, because it's 8 episodes. It's like, in 10-hour investment, and it kind of gets you a good idea of the series. So I think, will it get the average person invested? I don't know because it is kind of wacky, but I think if anyone has like curiosity, I think with the amount of advertisement it is, people would check it out just to kind of see what the hype is.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen a few comments on Twitter saying that, okay, I've never seen One Piece, but this is actually pretty good, pretty interesting.
Yeah, like so. it is interesting. I think it's like a story that most people have never seen. I think that's going to at least tie down or get people interested for at least a few episodes. And I think that's all they really need to decide, like, if I want to keep this up. So I think it is going to bring in a new audience. And I think the best thing is that it gives people a chance who are One Piece fans to finally be able to, like, give you a person who's not, like, a digestible means to watch it. So you need to watch it.
Okay.
There you go.
It is good.
But, with all these, things about One Piece, they did already announce, because it's actually doing really good. So they already have a season 2 announcement for it. So they've already been greenlit for that. So if you want to go ahead, we can do a quick reaction to the season 2 announcement trailer announcement thing.
Yeah, let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
実写ドラマ版ワンピースシーズン1いかがだったでしょうか。ネットフリックスとトゥモロースタジオと一緒に長い間制作に取り組んできました。配信された作品を世界中の皆さんが楽しんでくれているようで、制作陣の苦労が報われて本当に良かったと思うし、その甲斐があったと感じます。ワンピースを長年好きでいてくれている皆さん、今回初めてワンピースを楽しんでくれた皆さん、本当にありがとうございます。配信から2週間、とてもいい知らせが届きました。なんとネットフリックスが続編の制作を決定しました。イニャキたち実写版麦わらの一味の冒険はまだまだ続きます。脚本が出来上がるまでまだまだ時間がかかりますので、気長にお待ちください。さて、ここから先は麦わらの一味に優秀な繊維が必要になってくる気がします。ご期待ください。
None of that was in English.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay. For the people that don't watch One Piece, was anyone here wondering why a snail with a wig was talking to you?
That's all I could think about.
Okay.
A snail talking.
All right.
Was that a mustache or was that like what was that?
It was supposed to mimic the hair.
The hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So in case, like I said, people that don't watch One Piece, in this universe, snails are phones. And that's just
snails are just naturally.
Snails are just phones. That's just, it doesn't. There's no explanation. That's just what it is.
They just phones.
It is just.
So
they're
you
just,
got like a
just
little
put your faith
snail.
in it.
Yeah.
You got a little snail phone.
That's right.
Exactly, and they mimic your look. So it's like usually you'll see a snail on a table of a guy, and it like the snail kind of looks like the guy. That's like
That's using, so it looked like his owner basically.
Yeah, exactly,
yeah.
And that's and like I said, that's kind of one of the wackiness of One Piece, where it's just like there are things that just are. And it's not explained. It's like that's just part of the world.
You just got to leave it up to faith.
Yeah. So that's so that's why I'm like, some people could be deterred, but if you could just stick it through and just accept the things face value that they're telling you to accept, you will like it.
Sounds like a very trippy show.
Yeah. I never watched One Piece, but I'll check out the live action. I think it'll be a good a good way to like connect with the people that do watch One Piece, but they watch it like from the anime, like you feel me? They real fans.
True.
I'll check it out.
Before I get into questions about season 2 and like what is going to be for the future, I forgot to cover, because I know you said what you didn't like, but were there any dislikes you had, Leezy, with the series, season 1? And I'll say what I kind of didn't like.
Well, I still haven't finished it, but
Okay.
The characters are really good.
Mm-hmm.
The character roles pretty good. I feel like some of the characters, like Shanks didn't actually seem like that ferocious, or not even ferocious, because he wasn't really like that in the beginning.
Uh-huh.
But the casting was okay for Shanks.
Yeah.
But I feel like he lacked a lot of emotion.
Yeah, he didn't have that edge.
A lot of the characters, they felt a little too bland at times.
What do you think about Ben Beckman being fat? This has been a fat.
He was
guy.
fat? I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah, he had a little portly face. You can probably
What?
type it in.
Wow.
But yeah.
Okay. But yeah, like when it comes to character portrayals, it's like it's a big deal. So if you make it like too dramatic of a change, like, you know, completely changing them to like a black person, you know, versus a white person, like that's a little off-putting.
Yeah. Are you speaking about something specific, Leezy?
Yes.
Oh, who we talking about?
Well, we got a lot of examples here because they love changing some stuff around, but
yeah. One of the things, and I'm not saying I didn't dislike it.
Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah,
Spoiler.
They didn't necessarily do too much race swapping. Like, there were some characters they did that like weren't necessarily like if they were like ambiguously raced. Like, let's say there was a character named Jin who was in the Baratier arc of the show. He was like a dark skinned guy, so they made him black, you know. And then there's characters who are just black, like Usopp, Yasop. And then there's characters that kind of like are inoffensive because they still kind of look like the character, like a Lucky Roo. I don't mind when they do that. It's not a big deal. You know, I just want to make sure that, you know, any changes made don't break my immersion. The only time I felt like it was a little bit more offensive is there's this character that's supposed to be like Nami's stepsister named Nojiko. And like, they literally could have just hired a white woman. But like they made her black, and it's like really for no other reason. Like it's not like this character could like fit in. It's not because it was like she was ambiguous. It wouldn't enhance the story. It's just because they could, and that's the only time where I get a little bit like, all right, come on, like really, like why? And especially when it's like they're off model. Like Lucky Roo was black, but he was on model. He looked like the character with dark skin. Like that's fine. Like she's literally just any black woman with a blue wig though. And I was like, it didn't add anything. Like there's no reason for that. And that's the only time when I get like, not mad, but it's just like really like I know what you're doing. Like you don't have to do that. Like, but this guy, like, yeah, he's got like the, you know, jolly fat guy faith. He wears goggles and a bandana most of the time. Like, yeah, he could be him. But like, yeah, that's the only thing. I'm like, I think they did that a little too excessively sometimes.
Yeah, completely.
But
one thing in that same vein that I found a little bit weird was just like every time you're watching the show, like in every single frame, there's a black person.
They do that
like,
a lot.
And like diversity, in One Piece, man. It's like, you know, the diversity is cool. I'm not like against, you know, black people being in roles of any sort, you know, obviously, but it's like, you know, in the scene, for example, when they were in like the Buggy's
thing.
Circus.
Yeah, every
circus tent. It's like every single close up, it zooms in on like an old black lady, an old black man. It's like, okay, well, but was it like that in the anime?
No.
No, like even close.
There's exceptionally more fair-skinned people in the world of One Piece. But,
yeah. I don't know. It's just kind of weird to me.
Yeah. Or what about when they had Zoro's flashback and it's like literally a like Japanese samurai village and it's like half the cast.
Right.
Just black
like at this Japanese samurai village and then half of the students are black kids. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's just like logically
killing my immersion.
Yeah, killing the immersion of it all. It's just kind of silly.
Yeah.
Like, that was the stupidest thing. Like literally, like it's supposed to be like Edo period Japan.
Yeah,
I mean Zoro's like
black.
training a sword
like
with like
half.
with you know Daishan and shit.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't believe you said black people can't be samurai, Steve. That's crazy.
Yeah, we do have Yasuke.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yusuke. Yeah, he did do that, didn't he? Here we have the Afro samurai.
Yeah,
well, he's cool.
Samurai Champloo had some good samurais in it. Black samurai.
Okay, yeah. So we can do it.
Yeah,
but,
we can do it.
But yeah. So for season 2's announcement, there's one big thing about like how they're gonna go forward with it. And without spoiling or talking about the arcs, there's like if you notice at the end of the video, they had drawn a character, which was like a little reindeer guy, and his name is Chopper. He looks like that. So the thing with Chopper that people are talking about is how are they going to adapt this thing in live action? Because there's people like, are they going to cast him as a person?
This is him as a drawing.
Are they going to have him be fully CGI? Is he going to be a puppet? Yeah. And so for people who, you know, us who do watch it and those who don't, what do you think is the best step to like adapt something like this so that it doesn't like is off-putting and satisfies the most people?
I personally think it's fair enough to make him a human because he ate the human fruit or whatever.
He did. That's one
true,
of his
yeah.
things.
Very good,
where
very
it's
good
like
point.
he ate the human fruit. So like he has a form, his space form, which is, we know that little reindeer.
Oh, they can
chibi.
make him a midget.
Yeah, but then he also has a form where he turns into a person. So some people suggest that you can either just like, how they have that little kit there. You can just have a kit casted and, have him kind of still look like it aesthetically and just kind of say like, well, he ate the human fruit. So, he can be this and it still makes sense. Or he can just be in his adult human form most of the time for, whatever reason. Yeah. And you can kind of like pass that off. But then some people who say like CGI or like just make him a puppet, do you think that would possibly work since they have been relying a lot on more practical effects?
I think CGI would just be like a really big expenditure when they could just use a person. I think that's asking too much for it to be CGI. A puppet would be okay, I guess, but I think it may as well just be a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
I think it should be a person. I think CGI is out the question. I'm like, no, that'd be too much expenditure.
Right, what is this, the Hulk?
Yeah.
What are we doing, the Avengers here?
I think it's going to make it look worse. I think either a puppet or a kid or maybe the adult, whichever one they want to do. But I think one of those would be good. I think the puppet would give the most accuracy, but then it'll also make things seem really stilted because it's like we're just supposed to accept that like everyone else here is casted as a person and they're talking to an actual puppet.
Yeah.
But like they're supposed to believe that it's not a puppet. I think that would get really Sesame Street. So I think maybe just a person would be better.
Yeah.
I think that's the best route, honestly.
Yeah, just give them a couple of little fur. Like they did with the Fishman. Like you can do Fishman, you can do this.
True.
Let's give them makeup.
That's true, yeah. And just a furry kid.
Yeah, I think we solved that one.
Is there anything else?
Let's see. Well, not too much really. What do you guys think about the future? Like for the guys who don't watch it, are you interested in watching it now? Why or why not?
Definitely interested in watching it. I enjoy some anime, and I'm not that very experienced in knowing what's good anime and what's bad anime. So when I hear good things about anime, I definitely will invest some time to check it out.
Nice.
Like that.
I don't watch stuff to begin with, so I need more stuff to watch. I need more stuff to watch, so I'll check it out. Why not?
What I like about One Piece is like, live action or not, if you're watching the anime, then it's like you'll never run out. You can watch 10 episodes a week and you won't run out probably because you're never going to catch up. So it's like you can just have like you'd probably catch up eventually, obviously. Like, obviously you're going to take weeks off. There's going to be things that come in between, but it's one of those shows where it's like I watched 500 episodes in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
Jesus.
Yeah, I couldn't stop. It was so good. I just could not stop watching it.
Yeah,
so.
No. I think One Piece is like the MMO of like TV. It's like you just need that. You only watch that and you'll never run out of stuff to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, thanks everyone for watching. This has been the One Piece episode.
Check it out.
Check it out. Give it a shot. Watch the live action. It'll funnel you into the anime, and then you'll have a good time for the rest of your life.
There you go.
Your kids can watch it with you one day, and that'll be cool.
You could be 80 and it's still going on. You can tell your kids, this came out when I was your age.
I wasn't even alive when they made this. Anyway, so yeah, make sure you guys follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can find audio or video. We're also on social media at The Cold Popcast. You can find us on TikTok and all the other platforms. And then on Patreon, $5 a month gets you access to the My Black Friends podcast backlog, as well as any future content we create for the show. Thanks for watching. We got to pop out of here.
All right. Peace.